This is video night in Joplin as a line of supercell thunderstorms moved on through. The National Weather Service in Springfield did issue 15 tornado warnings.
It's a busy afternoon, busy night last night, and continued through the overnight. And flooding really was the big concern overnight, especially in Kentucky. Now, we are in a lull with the rain around the Louisville area, but there is more tracking in. This is what it looked like earlier this morning. Emergency crews made more than 100 water rescues, and several streets near the University of Louisville campus are still closed. And the first floor of an apartment building had to be evacuated. You know, it's really still developing as we find out more reports about what happened across this area, Maria. And the concern is that more rain is tracking in right now.
I got an alert on my phone that said flood warning or flood something, and I'm like, oh, nothing will happen, because no one ever thinks it'll happen, and then it happened.
About 3 million people under a flash flood watch right now. We've got 5 schools in the Louisville area that canceled classes for today. The University of Louisville has stopped their classes until 10 o'clock. They had a delay going on because of the flooded roads. Maria.
And for good reason. I mean, you see that kind of water on the roadways. We don't want anybody in those conditions. And if you just look at the last 24 hours, it's very clear why that happened. And the recap on the radar, looking at that rainfall total estimated by the Doppler, you can see there are a lot of places approaching that 5 inches of rainfall mark there, including just to the east of Louisville. And you look at those main interstates, too, that have been impacted. So travel this morning around those areas has been very difficult, to say the least. Flash flood reports coming in. You can see the water rescues in Highview, also English. Car was stuck in that high water as the folks in there had to be rescued. When you look at the next couple of hours moving forward, yes, we have unfortunately, another round of heavy rainfall moving on in, and there is some lightning associated with it. So on top of the flooding, we're also keeping track of the fire that's happening at the GE plant or GE storage area in the Louisville region. You can see through tomorrow an additional 1 to 2. This is additional on top of what has already fallen. There will be spots in that 2 to 3 inch range, and as Jen mentioned, they cannot handle that much more rain in that period of time. So we do have those flash flood watches that have been extended into this evening, including Cincinnati, over into Charleston, West Virginia, where you're on tap to see some of that heaviest of rain come through your area right now. But for Louisville, it is going to be another few hours quieting down, guys, by later on this evening when we finally get some of that drier air to push on in.
All right, so Maria, we're also concerned about severe weather when it comes to tornadoes and hail and damaging winds. Greg, a large area. This has been a busy couple of days, man.
Yeah, and it's actually not that different an area than yesterday. Everything's just shifted a little bit farther to the east, but all the way from the Ohio Valley to parts of the south, expect some severe weather today with a chance of some tornadoes. But even if there aren't any, we know severe thunderstorms are dangerous and pose their hazards with hail and high winds and, of course, lightning and even flooding as well.
There was a tree that fell on a tent in Kentucky yesterday, and a man lost his life. I mean, damaging winds are very dangerous.
Right. We have essentially, again, as I said earlier, the same setup, a lot of humid flow coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and it's feeding this cluster of storms that's right now not severe, technically, but it is producing some flooding across parts of Kentucky. So that's going to be a concern for the next few hours across that region. A couple of these storms in this cluster may produce some high winds. There's one little curlicue that I found out here, right in here.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It's not got a warning on it right now, but it's got that backward C component to it, which suggests there's some outflow coming in that might be pretty strong out of the west. So watch out along I-24 in areas just to the south of Madisonville.
For some watching, you know, in here too, that little notch. So keep an eye on that. Yeah.
Exactly, Jen. Right in there.
Yeah.
If I can draw that on here, if this is going to let me draw, let's try that again. Right in there. Watch out for some high winds. Again, just south of Madison. Not yet meeting severe criterion, but we'll see. That may change. The warnings could pop up instantaneously without any warning.
Really, later today is when you get more energy involved, more upper level energy involved in what's happening right now.
That's exactly right. We're going to continue with that humid air mass moving north from the Gulf of Mexico. All that green contouring there. That's the dew point that I put in there. So 60s dew points are widespread. We're going to have an upper level disturbance coming in out of the Rockies. And Jen, you were saying that upper level disturbance.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we had snow this morning in Denver. You're waking up to some snow out there. We saw it on the rooftops. That disturbance is the energy that helps feed thunderstorms in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, and that jet stream comes in. This cyclone, this low pressure system is going to be moving pretty quickly across parts of the Ohio Valley. And where it goes, those, we have to watch out for the enhanced threat for some strong thunderstorms and maybe a tornado, because it will be moving into an area of high available energy, so buoyancy for storms to grow big and tall. And of course, that strong wind shear across that region. It's at that intersection where we expect perhaps the worst of all the weather later on today.
This is your calling card now, Greg, is when you put this all together and you see where they intersect. That's it. And it was spot on yesterday, so today is as well, hopefully. Okay. Good warning on that.
Yes.
All right.
Now
So-
we have a graphic here.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about the anatomy of tornadoes more generally. So this is going to be a really cool little segment where we talk about sort of the structure of the tornado itself. And let's have a look at on Max 46 if we can pull up the anatomy of a tornado. Do we have that for us? Oh, it's behind us. Let's see if we can do it here. We'll get this right for you, I promise. Let's have a look. And no, actually, we don't have that for you. What we're gonna do this time around is time everything out today with the severe weather, according to the forecast of the radar here. Let's go across the Tennessee Valley and show you that
this
Nashville.
is actually really useful, the timing of everything today.
That's right. So this is, remember that area that we were overlapping before with the instability and the shear, kind of targeting this area for the development of some significant thunderstorm activity later on this afternoon? Not yet. We got to wait for the ingredients really to come in line, but I think that's going to happen right in that zone late this afternoon.
So we're talking, after lunchtime, maybe 1 o'clock, in between 1 and 5 or 6 o'clock, coming through Nashville. Then you got Chattanooga to look at. And Greg, what do you think about northern Georgia?
You know what? They're a little bit farther removed from the strongest wind shear aloft. That generally helps to keep storms alive longer and helps them produce severe weather more effectively. I think the strongest wind shear will be up here. So the farther south you go, I think the less of that you'll have to deal with. So perhaps less chances for severe weather down south. But doesn't mean it can't happen.
Right.
It's just more likely to be a
less
little bit farther
likely.
north.
Okay. Greg, thank you. Maria, back to you.
And guys, of course, with the threat of tornadoes, we want to make sure that you are prepared when you get a tornado warning for your area. Here's some advice to help you keep your family weather ready. That's what we're all about. If you're in a home with a basement, avoid the windows. Please get into the basement and under some kind of sturdy protection, or cover yourself with a thick padding or sleeping bag. And remember, grab those bike helmets too. If you're in a house without a basement or a dorm or an apartment, avoid the windows as well. Go to the lowest floor. Look for that small center room like a bathroom or closet. Go under a stairwell or into your hallway with no windows if that's an option for you, and crouch as low as possible to the floor and cover your head with your hands. And if you are in an office building, go directly to an enclosed windowless area in the center of the building on the lowest floor possible. Interior stairwells, usually a good place to take shelter as well, but please stay off the elevators, because if the power goes out, you now find yourself trapped.
All right, really good advice and very comprehensive there. Coming up next, this is a fear that affects a lot of nervous flyers, your plane getting struck by lightning.
But coming up, incredible video of it possibly happening to two planes within minutes of each other. We'll get a full look at this video, and it'll be interesting to see where it was filmed.
Louisville, quick look at your timing. More storms tracking in.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, abundant sunshine. High 86. Southwest winds shifting to east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Lennox makes the quietest system you can find. So even though it's the most powerful force in your home, it won't sound like it is. Save up to $1,700 on qualifying systems, now through June 12th.
For more information, contact your local Lennox dealer. Introducing the new Can-Am Spyder F3. With a cruising riding position and the most advanced vehicle stability system in the industry, you'll ride with a feeling of complete freedom and confidence. Visit your Can-Am Spyder dealer and test drive one today. The new Spyder F3. Riding has evolved.
So we've had a Tempur-Pedic for a while, but now that we have the adjustable base, it's even better.
I'm gonna go up.
When I put my feet up on this bed, my stress just goes away.
Visit your local retailer and discover how Tempur-Pedic can move you.
What do you think?
When I first sit in the seat, it makes me think of a BMW.
I feel like I'm in a Lexus. You would think that this was a brand new Audi.
It's like a luxury car.
It feels kind of like an Infiniti.
Very similar to Range Rover.
This is pretty high tech.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of the Mercedes.
This is Chevy? Wow.
I have a new appreciation for Chevy. They thought about me.
I could totally rock this.
This thing feels pretty boss.
It looks kind of dope.
That's pretty cool.
This is the jam.
Pretty bomb, dude.
Maybe I will go Chevy.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Oh man, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Harry.
You gotta do it like this. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, George. Hey, Jim.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
Happy birthday!
Make a wish, buddy. Okay, now Mom's gonna cut the cake.
We all have a Disney side.
Who wants ice cream?
And the best place to show it is Disney Parks. So come to the place where the entire family can laugh, let loose, and play together. Disney Parks. Come on, it's time to show your Disney side.
Switch to Cricket Wireless this tax season and get a free 4G LTE smartphone after mail-in rebate. And a free month of service after completing 2 months on select plans. That way you can turn your tax refund into a me fund and treat yourself to something nice, like every flavor and every topping. Cricket, something to smile about.
New Flonase Allergy Relief Nasal Spray outperforms the #1 allergy pill. The leading allergy pill only controls 1 inflammatory substance. Flonase controls 6. So go ahead, inhale life. New Flonase. 6 is greater than 1. This changes everything.
Tracking a lot of storms out there this morning, and some of the tallest ones right now are actually south of Evansville. Those storms are reaching up over 35,000 feet. You can see there's lightning with them as well. Pretty tall in the atmosphere, Maria, the kind of storms you're going to be avoiding if you are flying.
And that's certainly going to be enough to maybe divert some of the flight tracks and flight paths and maybe even delay some areas. You know, Cincinnati, a very busy airport as well, as it's kind of that halfway point between east and west and north and south.
Well, we are going to be, of course, watching for travel today. We've got some new video out there. This is pretty startling. We got 2 planes as they were landing at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport last night, and look what happened.
Look at that. Look at that. People on one of the planes told local media there was a loud gasp in the cabin when it happened, you think. It sounds and looks dangerous, but jets are built to be protected, and they protect the crew and passengers when they're struck. A lot like a car.
Yeah, I mean, actually being on an airplane is one of the safest places to be during lightning.
Meteorologist Chris Warren recently visited the Boeing test facility in Seattle to find out if it's true.
Imagine this while you're in this. We know lightning can be deadly when you're on the ground, but what about an airplane? To find out, we went to the experts.
This is the Boeing Company Lightning Lab. It's a high voltage test chamber and a high current test chamber to do lightning effects on aircraft and aircraft parts.
Lightning's scary enough, but for people flying an airplane, you see lightning out the window.
Right.
Should people be scared when they see that?
Not when you're in an airplane, because the plane is designed to handle any kind of attachments to its exterior surface. The exterior surface is like a Faraday cage. All the charge will stay on the outside. It becomes a part of the channel, and current flows right through it.
To demonstrate this, they will strike this airplane model with a bolt of lightning from their own Marks generator.
When we use this high voltage generator, we mimic what the lightning attachment is going to look like on an aircraft in flight. Whether it's on the nose, the wingtips, the tail, that's what we're going to look for. So we're ready, lights are ready, and we're charging.
It's go time?
Okay. Go time.
Just saw the test and the plane looks fine. Looks like the same as when we came in.
That's right, because this is an initial attachment test. It's a high voltage test. We do a high current test to assess the damage. That's in the other room. This is a representation of a piece of aircraft skin. This is our output probe, similar to what we had in the other room, only here, instead of using 2 megavolts, we use about 50 to 60 kilovolts, but we get 200,000 amps out of it.
Already turned 50.
And here's the result. So what that arc did is it penetrated through the paint to the metal layer and discharged about 200,000 amps into that panel.
It didn't go through though, right?
No, on a panel of this equivalent thickness on the airplane, it would not go through.
It wouldn't go through. As far as nature goes, how would you compare that strike to what you'd find in nature?
That is the highest strike that you would normally see in any aircraft lifetime. From a lightning attachment such as this, you would expect to be able to turn around and fly right back.
Well, it's just another thing that you just don't worry about it. Don't worry about if the plane gets hit by lightning.
That's right.
I know easier said than done, but yeah, don't worry about it.
I feel a little bit better. I do. I'm not the best of flyers. That would make me incredibly nervous, but science behind it's good.
Yeah. All right, so we have a lot of lightning out there today, of course. And for folks from Lexington to Nashville, Memphis, Jackson, all the way to Houston, we're concerned about severe weather. That's in red, and then outlined in yellow are just general thunderstorms, which, you know, anyone driving up towards D.C., Charleston, West Virginia, you're dealing with just plain old thunderstorms today.
So let's hit up a few areas, including in Memphis. Damaging winds, certainly a possibility. We've seen hail, large hail in particular, enough that you may be wanting to put that car in the garage if you have one, because that's enough to do some damage.
All right, we go up, and as we continue the storm threat for today, heavy rain has been a big problem for us in Kentucky all night long, and that's still going to remain an issue through today. But we also have the threat for storms that may bring damaging winds and large hail, and there is a chance of a tornado as well. 3 on the Torcon. You guys got a lot going on today in Lexington, and the timing for the worst weather is between 2 and 6 o'clock. We've got more rain, though, you know, tracking in, so that first is going to be your concern, is the threat for flash flooding.
So when you see that break, if you have that break, don't think it's going to last all day. This is one of those things that will be well into this evening.
Tomorrow will be different for sure. Easter weekend will be a lot different across this whole area. And believe it or not, we are still using the word snow for Easter weekend.
Oh my gosh, where another spring weekend will be spent watching snowfall. How much we are going to see coming up.
Hey, what is this? What's going on?
Well, where have you been?
I was inside.
Yeah?
So long. There was nothing. No yard, no grill. It was just white and cold.
It was winter, buddy. Just winter.
Somebody get this man a burger!
Winter's over, and new and improved Kingsford charcoal is now better than ever.
You know those neighbors always making weird inventions out of junk in their garage? The Weather Channel just gave them their own TV show.
It's gonna be awesome!
Sunday nights.
Come on, wind! I think I just made Mother Nature my
One man's trash.
This is perfect!
Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
This is incredible!
Failure's not an option.
Oh, yeah, it is. We got a problem, Houston!
Brainstormers, Sunday nights at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, abundant sunshine. High 86. Southwest winds shifting to east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
You can't predict the market. But at T. Rowe Price, we've helped guide our clients through good times and bad. Our experienced investment professionals are one reason over 85% of our mutual funds beat their 10-year Lipper averages. So in a variety of markets, we can help you feel confident. Request a prospectus or summary prospectus with investment information, risks, fees, and expenses to read and consider carefully before investing. Call us or your advisor. T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence.
I always dreamed of coming here. When my asthma symptoms returned, my doctor prescribed Dulera to help prevent them.
Dulera is for patients 12 and older whose asthma is not well controlled on a long-term asthma control medicine, like an inhaled corticosteroid. Dulera will not replace a rescue inhaler for sudden symptoms.
A 6-month clinical study has shown Dulera helps significantly improve lung function.
Dulera contains formoterol, which increases the risk of death from asthma problems and may increase the risk of hospitalization in children and adolescents. Dulera is not for people whose asthma is well controlled with a long-term asthma control medicine, like an inhaled corticosteroid. Once your asthma is well controlled, your doctor will decide if you can stop Dulera and prescribe a different asthma control medicine, like an inhaled corticosteroid. Do not take Dulera more than prescribed. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve or gets worse.
Ask your doctor about Dulera.
Oh, man. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Harry.
You got to do it like this. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, George. Hey, Jim. State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
I'll trade you 3 of these for trash duty. Sure.
Today, sweeten the deal. Get low prices you can trust every day on Reese's Peanut Butter Eggs and Cadbury Cream Eggs.
And just like that, the snow is gone. And off you go. And every frozen second spent willing this day to come is just a warm, fading memory.
Skin's ability to retain moisture weakens with age. New Gold Bond Strength and Resilience has skin-plumping moisturizers and proteins from the Resurrection Plant to bring skin back to life. 84% saw an improvement in skin texture in 5 days. Gold Bond Strength and Resilience.
When you're diabetic, one of the important things about keeping yourself healthy is keeping your skin hydrated.
Gold Bond Diabetics Dry Skin Relief. 9 out of 10 saw noticeable improvement in just 1 hour. Dry skin is under control.
Gold Bond really works.
I remember walking out to the gate, and I stood there, and I looked up into the sky, and I said, "Really, God? Really? This is how you want me to get well? You want me to be around a whole bunch of guys that are sick, that I don't believe are like-minded like me, that aren't looking for sobriety the way I'm looking for sobriety?" And I heard a small voice said, "Yes, Vance, you have to get well amongst the sick, because you're just like them."
0.
Sundays.
One man's trash.
This is perfect.
Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier.
Brainstormers. Sundays at 9. Only on the Weather Channel.
Give you an update on the weather that we're tracking here, and of course the rain that has created so many issues in Louisville. That batch has moved on. It's now past Lexington, on its way areas like Charleston into West Virginia and northern Tennessee. But look at the heavy rain now moving back in. All that red and orange, including the lightning, moving back into areas that just cannot handle any more additional rainfall. So watch out for those areas that have already seen the high water, Jen, are going to continue to see the threat for flash flooding. That's why those watches have been do extend well into the evening hours.
There's some flood watches up in western New York too, Maria. So let's go into the Buffalo area. Here, of course, the concern is rain coming in, and we have a pretty saturated ground. Let's look at Buffalo, where you can see how foggy it is right now. We were loving life with warm temperatures yesterday, but with all that warmth and with, of course, the snow that is, I'm sure there's still piles left to be melted out there. We get fog, and that's what we have going on right now. Rain's coming in today, and then eventually we get that mixing with snow, maybe changing over to snow. That can continues into early tomorrow morning. That's Buffalo, but for now, let's talk temperatures in places like Boston, where we're going to 66 degrees yesterday. Woohoo! You can get out the flip-flops, enjoy it. Might be a little cool for flip-flops, but compared to what we've had, it's not bad. We hit 61 degrees yesterday. Portland, we're going to top our warmest temperature of the season, which was 56. We're going to 61. Philly, we're going to practically 70. If you round up, it would be 70 today. Warm as we had on St. Patrick's Day. And in Providence, Rhode Island, we're going to have our warmest day of the season as well, topping yesterday's wonderful 60 degrees. Look at all this, all the way from Raleigh to D.C. Temperatures running well above average. We're going to get close to the mid-70s here in D.C. In Raleigh, we will hit the 80s today. And so you're wondering, is it going to last, right? Not so. Not for Easter weekend. We do get the warmth today in Boston. For us, it's 66. But then after that, we cool off, and we're going to see temperatures back down to about 50 for you tomorrow. And we stay there on Easter Sunday. On Monday, a little bit above average, but not much. We're 56 degrees here in Boston. Philadelphia, same deal. We go below average tomorrow. The average high right now is 59 degrees. You've probably forgotten how warm we typically are this time of year, right? But we're going to go back to the 60s by Sunday. In fact, by Monday, we're heading back to 70 in Philadelphia.
I like your math, Jen, that you round up when it comes to temperatures like that. It's good math.
Round down with price tags
61 is close to 70 eventually. But it's really interesting. She ends up on Philadelphia. Philadelphia has an incredible snow record on this date. Back in 1915, they picked up 19 inches of snow.
Oh my goodness.
So it's possible to see snow this week in April, although with, these kinds of numbers after the winter we've had, we're kind of done, but it's there.
Yeah, and we are going to see some snow this weekend, Maria, across parts of northern New England and northern New York State. Not a whole lot. Northern Maine might get 5 to 8 inches, but this is not that unusual, even in early April, that far north to see some snow. The culprit is going to be this low pressure system. It's going to be moving kind of along like that. So if you're south of that track, you are not likely to see any significant snow. Too warm. The warmer air, well, relatively speaking, the warmer air will be in that corridor and the snow will be off along into the north of that low pressure system's track. Then it heads out on Saturday night and early Sunday morning, and then we're kind of left with this cool to cold northwest wind and a little bit of a disturbance, kind of a sort of elongated swath, perhaps a little bit of light snow moving in, again, to parts of New England. But again, what I showed you, that accumulation map, that accounts for both of these systems. So we're not talking about a whole lot. Let's transition now to severe weather chances next week.
It's amazing that we're looking out that far and into the Pacific for that next round.
There is a pretty strong upper level disturbance out there with a cold pocket aloft that is not going to move very quickly onshore into the United States. And so what we're going to think at the surface by, say, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, kind of a classic setup with a lot of moisture coming north out of the Gulf of Mexico, low pressure system here developing slowly. We're going to have all kinds of things in place. A warm front here, a dry line there, and with that upper level energy that's going to only slowly be working in, I think we got a chance at some severe weather on Tuesday and Wednesday. And if you look at our forecast for those days, we have a lot of precip scattered out across the region. A lot of this is probably thunderstorm activity on Tuesday and Wednesday as well, even farther to the south across the southern plains. So heads up Tuesday, Wednesday, and guess what? Thursday is a better chance, I think. Guys, back to you.
And those areas that are seeing flooding today.
Yeah, again, we'll be looking at it next week. We'll track today's weather coming up next.
Area 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 84. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, abundant sunshine. High 86. Southwest winds shifting to east-southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
everyone. Thanks for joining us here on Weather Center Live. I'm Jen Carfagno.
And I'm Maria LaRosa with our storm specialist, Dr. Greg Postel. And it's another busy day between the flooding and the severe storms. It's, where do you begin?
Yeah, we're going to start today, I think, with the flooding potential. That's ongoing right now across parts of the Ohio Valley, but then transition to more severe weather, I think, later on today in the Mid-South, Tennessee, Kentucky. Torcons out there of 3, like yesterday.
All right, so we're going to be tracking all of that. This morning, many spent underwater. It was a flooding emergency in Louisville. The city not out of the woods yet. Now, we're going to show you what happened this morning with the damage, and then we'll track the radar and show you what is still to come.
So we're looking at that, but also looking ahead. Who's on alert today? After days of storms, the week is ending with even more. And we're going to break down the timing, as many of you are going to be preparing to hit the road, and we're going to keep an eye on your destination as well.
And what about the power of the weather? I mean, we see it time and time again. We're going to really show you how powerful lightning and strong damaging winds and floodwaters all are. We'll take a look at the power of these storms and how a little can really go a long way to creating damage. We're also going to share with you some of the stories coming out of Kentucky and Louisville. There have been more than 100 swiftwater rescues already this morning in Louisville. And you can see in this video, there's a rescue involving a 1-year-old boy. He was swept away in a flooded street. Rescue crews were able to pull him out and return him safely to his father. The flood danger is still going on right now, Maria.
Absolutely. And if you just look at the last 24 hours and how much rain has fallen in there, we were concerned about the totals, but also the timing. And a lot of that came during the late overnight hours. But you can see in that area in yellow in particular, maybe as much as 5+ inches of rainfall. And a lot of that came within a few hours. So we're getting reports like this, flash flooding in Louisville, where MetroSafe reports that 42 high water rescues have been reported throughout Jefferson County this morning. And everywhere you see the blue circle, that's where we have a report. Owensboro, widespread street flooding in and around that community. So also southern Indiana, highly impacted by all of the water. And you can see more, that bright yellow and orange on the radar. That is moving off to the east. Looks like Louisville may find itself at least in a little bit of the lighter green, with the heaviest on to the north and to the south. A little bit of lightning too, we know, with the rescues happening and a lot of people out and about trying to get a look at some of the damage done. Of course, we are tracking that GE fire as well. Lightning is going to be a concern. Right now, no severe warnings, but we do have that severe flooding threat. So additional rainfall through tonight. This is an additional on top of what has already fallen, maybe as much as 1 to 2 inches in a lot of spots, and those are it's falling on areas that have already seen 4 or 5 inches. So those flash flood watches continue into this evening. Paducah, Lexington, and even into West Virginia, Charleston. We're not leaving you out because you are seeing some of that heaviest rain that came through Louisville now. And speaking at Louisville, finally quieting down, but not until after the dinner hour late tonight as temperatures drop into the 50s. Our Mike Seidel is, of course, following the severe threat. He is in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Thunderstorms race through Cape Girardeau and here across southeast Missouri through the morning hours, but we missed out, fortunately, on the severe aspects. Over in Branson in the Ozarks, they had some wind damage. Far southwest Missouri in the early morning hours reported golf ball sized hail, and we had a tornado watch up for parts of Missouri and northern Arkansas that expired at 9 a.m. without any issues. But you can see the clearing now coming in from the north and west. Look at all the blue sky. Isn't that beautiful? But we're still ahead of the cold front. That front will come through this afternoon. That may spark additional showers and storms. There's still a flood watch here until at least 7. That's the forecast right now from the local weather service office. And we had here about 2/3 of an inch of rain. Looking now up to the sky towards the south and west, there go the ominous clouds with that severe threat heading off towards Kentucky and Tennessee for the late morning and afternoon hours. So we're done with the risk of severe weather. Except for some storms this afternoon, clear sailing for Easter weekend. Sunny skies back in the area, across this entire area, Saturday and Sunday as temperatures head to 60, if not better. It will be chilly tomorrow morning. There will be some local areas of frost in parts of the Show Me State. Back to you.
And we're still tracking storms possible there, but more likely farther east. Tornadoes are a concern. They have been all week. Last night, check it out, we had the tornado sirens going off in Mound Valley, Kansas, after a possible tornado was spotted. Now, look at this video and look behind that truck, and you'll start to see a funnel cloud starting to form behind the truck. The National Weather Service says a train spotter reported the tornado, which damaged a shed south of the city. So today's thread, Greg Postel, we're going to talk about what's going on today. You know, heavy rain has been a huge issue with flooding in Kentucky. But later today, some of those same areas may see storms that are strong with damaging winds or hail.
Exactly right. Let's look at the map and show you where the severe weather threat is greatest today. That's in the dark red area all the way from, I would say, the mid-south down to the deep south, really. So there's a pretty wide geography here that's got risk for severe thunderstorms. I think the primary hazards would be hail and high winds, a small chance of a tornado, but any one of those hazards, high winds and hail, they can do a lot of damage.
Oh, for sure. And we've seen it time and time again. We saw it yesterday with wind damage and hail damage, too. There's some, I think, baseball-sized hail yesterday, or grapefruit-sized hail.
Yeah, that is something else. And you know what? We've got a lot of rain here with a humid flow coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, banging up right against that warm front / cold front stationary boundary. So there's a lot of surface convergence here, and that is helping to initiate those sort of complexes of heavy rain showers. Earlier they had...
Yeah, a classic situation, too, right? With these big clusters of storms rolling right along that stationary front.
That's exactly right. And the quality, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere that's coming northward out of the Gulf of Mexico is leading to some pretty substantial rains across that region with those moving clusters going from west to east. But later on today, we're going to see an upper level disturbance move in from the west and move this surface low pressure system along, scoot it along that boundary. And as it does, just along and south of that low pressure system's track as it follows the jet stream, watch out for the chance for enhanced thunderstorms, maybe a little bit more severe, more potent, perhaps even a tornado or two, especially across parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. The models are spitting out a line of storms here. If they can remain isolated and close to that surface low track, watch out for some tornadic potential with them.
What about storms down into Alabama? You think strong?
Strong, yeah. I think they could be severe, but the odds of the severe weather, the farther south you get, goes a little bit less because the stronger energy is farther to the north.
All right, excellent, Greg. Thank you. Maria.
Well, coming up, guys, we're going to have the latest on today's severe weather threat, time it out, and some of the big impacts, plus evacuations and swift water rescues in Louisville this morning as heavy rain overnight causes dangerous flash flooding. What's next when we come back?
Lowe's presents how to install a new washing machine with one finger.
Maybe a little more that way.
Nice.
Now get 10% off major appliances, $3.99 and more at Lowe's.
Shop Lowe's for all your spring gardening needs. Plants, tools, and the knowledgeable people who can help you spring into spring.
Shopping for the family used to cause a lot of stress between me and my budget. But thanks to Fingerhut, we have found our happy place.
Life is definitely sweeter.
At Fingerhut.com, we got approved to shop with low monthly payments, over 200,000 items with brand names, and with great family stuff, like this Samsung TV.
And even our yoga mats.
All you got to do is click on over to Fingerhut.com and get the credit you deserve to get all kinds of great stuff for the family.
Once we were dreamers, adventurers set out to discover new lands, new people, new ways. Once we were great explorers in search of hidden treasure, secret hideouts, magic lands. The treasure is still here and waiting to inspire a new generation of dreamers. Come uncover the riches and bounty of pure Michigan. Your trip begins at Michigan.org.
When Ted's battery light lit up, his morning went from bad to worse. But after a pit stop at AutoZone, where they checked that for free, Ted was back to peak performance. It's called The Zone, and we'll help get you there. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
It's gonna go fast. Hold on.
We build weather inventions.
You just never know what's going to happen.
This is where I want to be right
now. Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, a mix of clouds and sun. High 83. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny skies. High 86. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Sundays.
One man's trash
Get to work.
is another man's totally awesome beer can space heater.
Hi.
Brainstormers. Sundays at 9. Only on the Weather Channel.
Our oath isn't an empty gesture. It isn't sealed with a pinky swear. It's the heart and soul of Terminix Nation. The Terminix Ultimate Protection Guarantee. A vow to kill every termite in your home. A vow that if, by some miraculous chance, even one survives, we'll put our money where our mouth is, finish it off, and pay for any damages. We'll meet them head-on with our battle cry. Not here, not now, not in my house. Terminix.
After years of being treated like she was invisible, it occurred to Mindy she might actually be invisible. But Mindy was actually not invisible.
Ooh, what are you doing?
Can you see me?
Yeah.
She had just always been treated that
You
way.
don't have to look at me like that. There are worse things than an attractive woman touching your body. Okay.
Join the nation that sees you as a priority.
Nationwide is on your side.
What do you think?
When I first sit in the seat, it makes me think of a BMW.
I feel like I'm in a Lexus.
You would think that this was a brand new Audi.
It's like a luxury car.
Feels kind of like an Infinity.
Very similar to Range Rover.
This is pretty high tech.
Yeah, it is. It reminds me of the Mercedes.
This is Chevy?
Wow. I have a new appreciation for Chevy. They thought about me.
I could totally rock this.
This thing feels pretty boss.
It looks kind of dope.
That's pretty cool.
This is the jam.
Pretty bomb, dude.
Maybe I will go Chevy.
Definitely.
Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against these occasional digestive issues with 3 types of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
All right, take a look at the radar in Kentucky right now. We've been following 2 big stories out of Kentucky. Flooding rain has been one of them. And you can see in eastern Kentucky, flash flood warning outlined in green right there. That continues. A lot of rain moving into the western part of the state. This on top of an area that had lots of flash flooding throughout the overnight last night.
And you see Louisville there in the center, but you have torrential rainfall if you're heading out of the city northbound, or even if you're heading southbound now, that yellow and the orange indicating very heavy rainfall. But in this area too, on top of everything else, we've been tracking that GE fire from earlier this morning.
All right, so what you just saw right there was some lightning strikes in the area earlier this morning. So one concern is that maybe it was a possible lightning strike that started the fire at this GE appliance park. This is just so much smoke continuing to billow out of this fire.
And now at last thing we heard, it was a 6-alarm fire and that the building has collapsed. More than 120 firefighters on the scene. Now you can imagine the fire department, many of these workers here were responding to flooding concerns nearby and then had to be pulled to attend to this fire.
The flash flooding affected a lot of roads this morning as well. All right, so let's go back to those lightning strikes. This was as the storms came through Louisville earlier this morning. This was just about 1 a.m. to 1:35 a.m. And you can see a lot of lightning in the vicinity of the GE Appliance Park where the fire was.
So not, wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that is the case.
So let's continue talking about storms in Kentucky. Of course, we see that rain moving in right now. Joining us on the phone from the National Weather Service in Louisville is Joe Sullivan. Joe, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us. We know you're very busy today. You think you'll be issuing some flash flood warnings for that next round of rain coming in?
Well, we probably will, but whether or not we do it right for Louisville remains to be seen. There's actually some encouraging things that are showing up on radar right now, and that we've got the back end of this line seems to be coming through a little quicker, and we seem to be splitting sort of the Red Sea's parting, no pun intended, between heavier rainfall heading to the north and some others to the south that's going through. So we're hoping to maybe get lucky and get less than an inch out of this band that's coming through the next hour or so.
Your area has dealt with a lot of rainfall in a relatively short amount of time. We've seen some of those totals in that 4 to 5 inch range. Take us through the next few hours. We know it went up really quickly and it receded really quickly. Is there potential to see that again?
Yes, but I don't think we're going to get nearly as much rise in the smaller creeks. However, with that being said, everything that comes down now is going to be 100% runoff. There's no way that anything's going to soak into the ground. So there will be on some of the smaller tributaries, there will be some quick rises, but we don't expect that to rise nearly as much. However, right now we still have water rescues that as late as a half hour ago when I was on a conference call with emergency management were still going on. So it's a big concern, and we just want people to take everything seriously and most importantly not try to drive through anything.
Joe, real quick, when do you think you'll be able to sound the all clear for the area with this active weather?
That's a good question because we've got a few hours of break after this line goes through now, or this area of heavy rainfall goes through, and then with the cold front coming through, we can look at some bigger storms that not going to give us as much rainfall, but it sure looks like it's going to give us a 1-2 punch with the wind, and we'll be getting some 35-mile-an-hour winds for a couple of hours this evening.
All right, Joe Sullivan, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Louisville. Again, appreciate his perspective on everything.
All right, we'll continue looking at the dangerous aspects of storms. We're tracking the power of wind and the power of water.
We're here today asking kids what their favorite vegetable is.
Kids?
Now we're going to give those same kids Bush's baked beans.
That's good.
And finally, we're going to tell them that Bush's baked beans are actually a vegetable.
Ixnay on the vegetable bay.
Oh, right. Bush's secret family recipe gives them a delicious flavor, so they're a vegetable that kids actually like.
Bush's baked beans, the vegetable that kids love.
Bush's beans. What's your favorite flavor?
It's happening. Today, more and more people with type 2 diabetes are learning about long-acting Levemir, an injectable insulin that can give you blood sugar control for up to 24 hours. And Levemir helps lower your A1C. Levemir comes in Flex Touch, the only pre-filled insulin pen with no push-button extension. Levemir lasts 42 days without refrigeration. That's 50% longer than Lantus, which lasts 28 days.
Today, I'm asking about Levemir Flex Touch.
Levemir is a long-acting insulin used to control high blood sugar in adults and children with diabetes and is not recommended to treat diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not use Levemir if you are allergic to any of its ingredients. The most common side effect is low blood sugar, which may cause symptoms such as sweating, shakiness, confusion, and headache. Severe low blood sugar can be serious and life-threatening. Ask your doctor about alcohol use, operating machinery, or driving. Other possible side effects include injection site reactions. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take and all of your medical conditions. Check your blood sugar levels. Your insulin dose should not be changed without asking your doctor. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing, swelling of your face, tongue, or throat, sweating, extreme drowsiness, dizziness, or confusion.
Today's the day to ask your doctor about Levemir Flex Touch, covered by nearly all health insurance and Medicare plans.
It's gonna go fast. Hold on.
We build weather inventions.
You just never know what's going to happen.
This is where I want to be right now.
We all want that little black dress moment, that look good, feel good moment. But when you're overweight, it's more like little black dress. I don't even want to get dressed. I'm tired. My knees hurt. I'm not going up those stairs again moment. You know what I'm saying? I'm Marie, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Now you can lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's Fast 5 Plus. Lose 5 pounds in your first week, plus 1 inch off your waist for your money back guarantee.
You'll get perfectly portioned meals that are ready in minutes. So there's no counting, no measuring, no guesswork. Simple.
Order your 28-day Nutrisystem plan right now, including Fast 5 Plus. Get 1 week of specially selected meals. Plus, you'll get 1 week of energizing shakes free and 1 week of Craving Crusher shakes free.
This is your moment. Don't wait. Start looking and feeling great today.
Call now, 855-807-THIN, and lose your first 5 pounds fast.
20.
We have been shattering records. Look at this sample.
I'm getting soaked.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
No, I wasn't.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, a mix of clouds and sun. High 83. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny skies. High 86. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, tracking rain in Kentucky. Flash flooding has been a real story for us overnight and early this morning. We just talked to the National Weather Service in Louisville, and they said there's still water rescues ongoing right now.
And you can see why they're concerned about the next few hours, because more heavy rain is moving in. They also mentioned that they may not see the fast rises in some of the smaller creeks, but still everything that does fall, they expect to be runoff. So watch the roadways for some of that high water before this next break moves in another hour or two.
Tell you what, it's a tremendous stroke of luck here in Louisville itself that the heaviest rain is north of town and south of town, and that's lucky only for Louisville. Certainly those other communities north of town and south of town are going to be dealing with some very heavy rain coming in on top of what you already had. Your ground is very saturated, can't really handle more than half an inch to an inch in an hour before you'll get additional flash flooding.
And what you're looking at here, this is to the east of Jackson. This is a flash flood warning, includes Floyd, Knott, and Pike counties. This is the batch of rain that initially came through Louisville early this morning, now making its way into West Virginia. So all week, these severe storms have really proven that no matter what type of weather you see, it can all be very powerful.
Today we're going to break down two of the most significant factors of severe weather, the floodwaters and the wind. And we're going to take a look at the power of both, starting with flooding.
And this is an incredible visualization of what can happen and really the true power of water. Let's take some fast-moving flood water and the impacts it'll have kind of when you're talking about depth of water. Because sometimes you think, oh, a couple of inches is not going to be that big of a concern. But you notice 4 to 6 inches of swiftly moving water. That is absolutely enough to knock a person off their feet. So you're thinking that you can cross a street or cross a small river, think twice.
And you often don't know what's underneath that too, which is another concern. If you have 2 feet of flowing water, that will float your vehicle, and that's of course a danger in itself.
And even if it's about a foot, it's enough to stall it, and then that's when you lose control. And then water flowing only at 4 miles per hour has enough force to damage or destroy a home. And Jen, you were mentioning you don't know what's in that water. Now you're talking about momentum from debris that may be in there as well. So that could absolutely add to the damage level and the capacity that that moving water has to create some real issues for, say, your home.
Water is powerful. Air is powerful as well when it comes to the force of the wind. So, you know, we talk about thunderstorms bringing wind damage. This is sub-severe strength, but winds of 45 to 57 miles per hour can do some damage. To start bending some trees, small limbs may break off, and you'll get some cosmetic damage to your home. But that 58 mile per hour threshold, that's when you really start to see more damage.
And you're talking large limbs now breaking. Even those trees that have the shallower roots may begin to topple over, and you're talking making driving very difficult, especially for high-profile semi-trucks start to flip.
That's when we start to see those reports of semi-trucks overturned. This happens even without severe thunderstorms, right? But when you get strong winds like this, sustained, it can really, you know, affect travel with the big trucks, the big rigs. All right, when the winds get over 75 miles per hour, I mean, this is hurricane strength, right? This is when you get up to 90 miles per hour, that's tornado strength. This is when you see widespread damage, roof damage. And Maria, a lot of times you see the evidence of straight line winds. It's all the trees knocked down all in one direction.
And keep in mind, we're mainly talking about gusts, right? So you're not looking at hours or even minutes and minutes of these types of winds, but gusts, short lasting gusts can do that kind of damage.
Well, flash flooding remains a dangerous threat during today's storms.
So coming up, the latest from Louisville, where heavy rain overnight flooded streets, forced evacuations, and swift water rescue still ongoing, Jen.
Let's take a look at Louisville. This is another problem in the area, which is a big fire that broke out at the GE Appliance Park. We're still following this story. It is still a developing story. You can see the flames, or excuse me, you can see the smoke still coming out of the structure.
We're hearing 6-alarm fire, more than 100 firefighters battling the fire, but also that the building has collapsed at this point.
So we'll bring you more on this when we come right back. First, though, your local forecast coming up.
Introducing the new Can-Am Spyder F3. With a cruising riding position and the most advanced vehicle stability system in the industry, you'll ride with a feeling of complete freedom and confidence. Visit your Can-Am Spyder dealer and test drive one today. The new Spyder F3. Riding has evolved.
Can a protein originally found in a jellyfish improve your memory? Our scientists say yes. Researchers have discovered a protein that actually supports healthier brain function. It's the breakthrough in a supplement called Prevagen. As we age, we lose proteins that support our brain. Prevagen supplements these proteins and has been clinically shown to improve memory. It's safe and effective. For support of healthier brain function, a sharper mind, and clearer thinking, try Prevagen for yourself today.
Is your back acting up again? Is lower back pain a daily drain? If you're one of the millions who suffer from the agony of lower back pain, you need Be Active, the revolutionary new pressure system that helps ease discomfort in your lower back, buttocks, and legs. Watch. Just slip on Be Active and tighten the strap. You'll soon begin experiencing pain relief. Look, back pain often radiates from the lower back to your lower extremities. But apply Be Active to the point of the calf muscle to relieve pain. The secret is the pressure pad that gently compresses, alleviating pain to the nerve and lower back.
Be Active provides firm pressure behind the knee on the specific pressure point, which can help relieve the pain and suffering from sciatica.
I just slide it on, I tighten the strap, I feel the pressure point right behind my knee, and right away I feel the release of pain in my lower back.
Wow, I can feel comfort already.
It's like right away relief.
I just put it on, but I can feel it already easing the pain.
You can't see the relief? I can feel it.
It kind of feels like it's relaxing that muscle.
But now I don't feel the pain at all. This is really something.
Be Active gives you the ability to be active again. Wear it while exercising. Keep up with the kids. It's invisible under clothing, comfortable enough to sleep in. Be Active easily adjusts to fit almost any leg. Be Active is always there to deliver the pain relief you need. Now feel the freedom of being active again with the Interpoint therapy of Be Active for just $19.99. But wait, call now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing. If you don't begin to feel quick back relief, send it back and owe nothing. You get it all for just $19.99. So call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-732-6143. That's 1-800-732-6143. Or go online at beactivebrace.com. Call or click today. That's 1-800-732-6143.
It's a thrill.
Whoa, yes!
You're excited. You're energized.
Grip it and rip it. Take a look at that action.
And for those kids that get to hit shots at the range, get to hit putts on 18, this is one of the best places in the game of golf.
The Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals. Sunday on Golf Channel.
Currently in our area, 80 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Today, a mix of clouds and sun. High 83. Winds east-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear. Low 68. Winds southeast at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday, mostly sunny skies. High 86. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Sundays. One man's trash. This is perfect. Is another man's wood-powered Jeep gasifier. Brainstormers. Sundays at 9. Only on the Weather Channel.
Well, we got the sirens going off here in Joplin. Sirens are going off. We had some people here at the hotel actually came out to take a look at the sky. They've gone inside to take shelter. We're probably going to do the same thing fairly soon. For now, we're in a very safe spot, however. We're keeping an eye on the development that we have just to our north. My goodness.
Reynolds Wolf there in Joplin last night as tornado sirens sounded. Right now, still stormy in a lot of these areas that had the storms overnight. Thank you so much for staying with us on Weather Center Live. I'm Maria LaRosa.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. So in Joplin, they did not have a tornado, but they had a lot of rain, hail also. And that's really the main threat this morning in Missouri is the flooding and the hail. This video was taken last night in Joplin as this line of supercell thunderstorms moved through. The National Weather Service in Springfield issued 15 tornado warnings. It was very active.
And then flooding, the biggest